So they took Matthew the 10th chapter and Matthew the 28th chapter and said that it's saying the same thing. Well, guess what? It is saying the same thing, but it's not saying the same thing in the way that you have put it out there.
Come on,
go ahead.
7 and 9. Go ahead.
7. Yep, it's 7. Yep.
Yeah, because you gotta understand, the Christians they lack the history. You know, they lack knowledge on that, man. Why I say all nations? Because we've been scattered amongst the nations due to the curses.
You got the blue letter? You got your phone?
I do.
You got it?
Read it out of the blue letter. That way you can go to the interlinear. Well, he got it in the blue letter, so go ahead.
Let's read Revelation 7 and 9.
He got it.
Come. This Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
So they take this scripture and they say that it applies to everybody, right? Okay, so let's see, is that really true? All right, let's see if the Lord really came for all nations, or is the Lord a hypocrite according to Matthew the 10th chapter? Because he said to go only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right, now get the word, read it, and stop at nations. And then you get the word nations.
Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations.
Which no man can number. Now, don't that sound familiar? Now, when you go into Hosea, get Hosea 1 real quick, you know. You see the point where I want you to start is where it say all nations. It might be 8. Where it say it cannot be numbered. Yeah, 10. Read verse 10.
Yeah. Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Stop. Read Revelation again to that same point.
Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number.
Which no man could number. So it say Israel can't be numbered. But then in Revelation it say a people of all nations that can't be numbered, which no man could number. So something about the word all is throwing them off. Because they seem to think that all nations on the earth are counted as a people according to the Lord. We're gonna get to that. Let's get nations. That's why you gotta go into the Strongs, and you gotta go into the original meaning of these words. All right, the Greek and the Hebrew. All right, the first thing that the Lord done when you go into Genesis, I'm not gonna say it's the first thing that he done, but one of the main things that the Lord did to impose his will on the earth with people being separate from one another is he confounded the language. Okay? In the beginning, it was one tongue. So in the time of Nimrod, they built a tower called the Tower of Babel, which in the Hebrew is Babal, which means confusion. And the reason why it's known as that tower is because the Lord confounded the languages and he separated the people by giving them different tongues.
This is nations in the blue letter. It's saying multitude, whether of men or beasts.
I always start at the top and read the blue letter. Going into, take your time. You're going into the Greek word. So I always press the button, read the Greek word and tell us what it is. The G stand for Greek. So hit it. Hit the book right there. Now repeat what he said.
This is Strong's G 1483, ethnos.
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 All right. So now let's see what the Greek word ethnos means pertaining to the word nations today. Now let's go into it.
A multitude, whether of men or of beasts, associated or living together.
Now this is where you need spiritual discernment. Because see, we can give you the formula, but we can't give you the spirit. All right? Go ahead.
A company, troop, swarm, a multitude of individuals of the same nature. Or
A multitude of individuals of the same nature. That's a jab. That's a jab. That's something to make you think. Let's go. Let's go.
the human family,
The human family. That's a counter. That's you was working, you threw a jab. He took it and he came back, he came with a cross at you.
a tribe, nation, people group,
A tribe, nation, people group. Keep going.
in the OT, foreign nations,
In the Old Testament, foreign nations. Go ahead.
not worshiping the true Yahweh,
Not worshiping the true Messiah. Go ahead.
pagans, and Gentiles,
Huh? Pagans
pagans.
and Gentiles. Okay? Because our people were scattered to the four corners of the earth and took on the customs of the natural Gentiles and became likened unto the Gentiles. All right? Took on their customs, took on their cultures, and forsake their own. All right? And through the process of time, they lost complete track of their heritage. All right? You got something?
Yeah, I got one. I actually got two. But I'm getting Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord should scatter thee among all people from that one.
There go that word all again. Okay? Among all people. So the prophecy was that the children of Israel was going to be scattered amongst all people. Not for a day or two, not for a couple of years, for generation to generation to generation until the Lord returns. The Lord's people was going to be amongst all the other nations, being heathens, being wicked, not knowing what their position was in the earth, not knowing that they are supposed to be a special people unto the Lord. Go ahead.
It said, and the Lord should scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even to the other, and thou shalt serve other gods, which neither nor their fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So one of the main gods that our people today worship ignorantly, not knowingly, is what that dude at?
Let that dude go right there.
This dude right here. All right? Which goes back to Serapis Christos, which was set up under Ptolemy the First, all right, in Egypt. It's another reason why this place is known as spiritual Egypt, is because the number one god of Egypt is Serapis Christos. All right? Which is where they came up with that Greek mythology with Zeus and all that bullshit. And then the image today, turn it around. The image today, all right, is of Cesare Borgia, or the Borgia family, the second son of Alexander the Sixth of Rome, okay, the Pope. So there you have it, right there in the scriptures, okay, of what was gonna happen to us. This is the Lord's prophecy of what was going to happen. And what did the Lord say about his word? it's not going to return unto him void. But see, the only problem with everybody trying to get this Bible and understand the narrative of it is that there's a spirit behind it. Revelation 19 and 10, real quick. Stay with what you got, Kalabi. Everybody stay with it yet? Okay.
All right, this is Revelation 19 and
19 and 10.
10. 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, seest thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. They have the testimony of Yahweh Shai.
The brethren of the Lord have the testimony, meaning they have this truth. They have the understanding. Why is that? Keep going.
Of Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. For the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy.
The testimony of the Lord is the spirit of prophecy. So any individual that open this book, I don't care what level of reading they're on, if they don't have that spirit right there in Revelation 19 and 10, they can't break this down to you. And if you don't have the spirit, if they can break it down to you, you can't receive it. Okay? Isaiah 8 and 20. Jump there right quick. Stay where you at, Op.
Come on.
This is
Isaiah 8
Isaiah.
and 20.
This is Isaiah 8. This is Isaiah 8 and 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
There's no light in them. Now, the light of the scriptures is what? This word. The spirit of Yahweh Shai. The light of the scriptures is Yahweh Shai. So if you don't got the spirit of Yahweh Shai in you, okay, then you can't understand this book, man. All right, now let's get back into bringing out the understanding to those that have the spirit. Go ahead and get your precept. We're gonna jump back. I want them to get the Strongs, and then we're gonna go to the next word in Revelation, which is kindred. So you go, then he go, and then you gonna go again.
God, this Psalms 106 and 35. But will mingle among the heathen and learn their works.
Start up.
Start up.
What was you at?
35.
So start at. Yeah, we're gonna get to the content. Yep. Come.
The Psalms 106 and 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but will mingle among the heathen and learn their works.
Right. So when the Lord told us in the Old Testament, I believe it's in Deuteronomy, all right, to not to be involved with them other nations, to spare them, to make no covenant with them, all right, we did just that. We mingled with them. King Saul, when he told King Saul to go and destroy all, what was it, Amalek. He didn't do that. He took cattle and women. He took that. He destroyed all the men. Lord told him to destroy everything. He left the king too. But he destroyed all the other men and he left the king. Come on, man. It's just been a minute since I read it. But I know he didn't do what the Lord told him to do. And that's what has been continually happening. The Lord gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? And he told us what the consequences was going to be. But you know what? It was all for us to be able to identify who we are today. At the same time, the Lord uses evil for good. You know? It's a perfect balance of evil and good. Evil means a lot of things. The main thing evil means is bad times. You know? So the Lord uses bad times to create good times. You remember that show, Good Times? What was so good about Good Times? It was a lot of bad times. And they had to deal with those bad times.
I got one more.
Okay, okay.
This Tobit 13.
Hold on. We gonna get it. We gonna give them all the haymakers right now. Keep letting me get some jabs in. Go ahead with that.
This is the Strong's definition for the word nation. It says a race as of the same habit and tribe, especially a foreign non-Jewish, one usually by implication pagan, Gentile, heathen, nation, and people.
So it's a lot of confusion in there. But the first point was the point. Read the first part of it.
A race
A race
as of the same habit.
of the same habitation. Okay? So it don't matter where they at in the earth, what language they speaking, what God they worshiping, all right? If their nationality goes back to one of these 12 tribes, they are an Israelite. Okay? They're actually not of another nation, but the Lord looks down upon those of his people that are worshiping other gods. Not only does he look down on them, he has cursed them. Okay? So now, pick back up, Gulabi, and then we're going to get the word kindred.
Again, it's Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds.
All nations and kindreds. So we broke down all nations. What the nations is going into, the word nation is ethnos. Okay? Now let's look up the word kindred.